Going live. Maybe live.
Going live.
I think we're live.
Quite possible. Maybe.
Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday night stream, the last Wednesday in August. Incidentally, a special Wednesday in August as well. First off, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Thank you all for being here and helping mutually share some happy hobby time. We'll see what everyone's doing in the chat, talk about what we're working on, and why today is awesome. So, that sounds good, right? Yeah. Hi, Flo. Say hi, Flo.
Hi.
Mandragora, welcome to the chat. Good to see you. Wednesday, must not forget, have so much to share. Oh, I want to know. Adeptus Ridiculous, good to see you, man. War Budgies, hello. Welcome, Austin. Yes, we all had a dinner the other day. It was quite nice with War Budgies. Let's see. Paul, thank you as always for being here. Thomas Grable, welcome. Hey Jeremy, how you doing, man? And I think we're about caught up, Thomas. Adeptus. Yeah. Cool. A special Wednesday, I say I do, because today is August 25th, which also happens to be the birthday of our amazing moderator, Paul. So happy birthday, Paul.
Happy birthday.
It's not technically his birthday anymore where he's at, but it's still a birthday here in America, which is basically like, you know, it's still his birthday then, so that's
He gets 2 days of his birthday.
2 days of his birthday. If it's your birthday in the mind of somebody you know, anywhere in the world, then as of that day, it's your birthday. So.
Still not over the Hatch green chili burger? Well,
Oh,
I mean,
it is
you
so
know,
good.
if you come here, that's kind of what you have to have, something with Hatch.
Always so much chili, yes. It's Albuquerque. It's New Mexico. You don't do anything without trying the green chili. Had pizza today, green chili on it. It's so good.
I didn't have any green chili today. But I have it so often, so. My stomach is probably going to thank me for not having any today.
It's good for you. It's loaded with vitamin C. So alive and kicking. Well, I'm very glad to hear that. So that's science. Thank you, Christian. Welcome. So, as the title suggests, I have
to do some face-ups.
I have to do some face-ups. I've got a backlog of models that I've worked on in the past, maybe familiar to you all, but they haven't gotten their faces put on yet because you sort of get to the base coat and then I get really distracted reading the chat and hanging out with you guys and enjoying that. And then the model kind of gets put away because it's kind of close enough to done where I'm like, I don't really want to bring it out for another live stream to watch me finish a model necessarily. At least that's the logic. Subsequently, there's a bunch of dudes that just don't have faces. So that's what I'm working on. And then we have Miss Flo, the fancy pants painter over here, who has just finished, and this is the finished, right?
Yes.
Okay. So she was working on this a couple weeks ago, a couple live streams ago, this Necron dude, and got the color scheme all totally laid out with the green and the blue and the bronze, everything on it. And so she will be continuing that scheme on her models tonight. So we'll mostly do progress checks following her work. Because, you know, it's more impressive. But yeah, the guys look pretty cool, right? Any particular bit about this model that was, like, especially hard, Flo?
I mean, the line work.
Just the line. Well, yeah, just keeping that steady.
No.
Fair enough. It looks really good. Like,
well,
from
I mean,
a distance.
it's all indented and stuff like that. So, you know, if you miss and you get it onto the paint that you've already done, and you have to cover that up, and it can look really bad. So, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely. Okay, fair enough. No, it looks great. It looks really, really good. So, Warbudgie says, oh, wow. Happy birthday, Paul. I thought the special, she was going to say, the launch of Warhammer Plus. This is much better. No. No. Hey, Siobhan, welcome to the chat. Let's see, my sound keeps going in and out. Is this a thing other people are experiencing? Mine, on this side, it looks like it's all stable on my end. So, Those highlights make me want to rebel against my star-eating gods. Excellent. Hi, Animus. Welcome. Hey, Paul, don't tell me your age unless you can flip it to be younger. Wow. All right. So, yes. Looks ace. Invictarus. Suzerain? Not sure. Anyway, welcome. Oh, hi, Robert. Welcome to the chat. So, yes, that's kind of what I'm going to work on. Now, Flo's painting style is that of a... I'm trying to think of like a nice way to put it, because it's like you're very just tunnel visioned on how you do it, and then you just buzz through the model. You don't like being distracted. So she comes over here.
I go ahead and let Miranda read all of the comments out loud, so that way I can reply to them.
Okay. Fair enough. So
I do have very, very much tunnel vision. I get very into whatever I'm working on, so.
It's true. It's like when I play scary games and I can't focus on anything else. We did a spooky escape room a few weeks ago, about a month ago now, because
it was for my birthday.
And I was very into it.
It was adorable.
Wait for it. Let's see. Remember, Paul, it's not illegal to lie about your age in online dating, so you can date younger women and not seem creepy. Because, like, on paper, I guess it's not creepy. Anyway. Duder number 1. This guy is such an enormous undertaking. He is so much work, so much filigree, so much everything. But I splattered some, like, basic skin tone into his facial area. And he's actually going to be a little bit of a trick because half of his face is a beard. So, and eyebrows. So, it's going to be
that
like...
sounds about right.
So I'm gonna bust out my super teeny tiny, my little...
Itty bitty teeny weeny.
Yes, the Monument Bombwig X10 dealie, which has proven to be quite handy at getting into all those super difficult places. A bitty brush indeed. So we're gonna give that a go. After tonight's live stream, I desperately need to properly clean all of my brushes, which is actually one of the video ideas I have to try and kind of get some other content going. And so one of the things I was looking at was like ideal ways to clean your stuff, clean your work area, clean your brushes, especially because
that's I know a lot about cleaning now.
She does know a lot about cleaning. Cleaning brushes though?
I mean, I do look all that stuff up also. I mean, I've taken enough painting classes.
Yes. So I'm working on that as one of the things to do in the 3 to 4 hours a day I have when I'm actually in my home. Let's see here. War Budgies working on Fiora 4 tonight. The Riot Quest one. I was like, 4? What? That makes sense. Let's see. Jeremy. I'm working on the armor for a big old heavy gunner for Zombicide Invader. Not sure if I should go with light gray or dark gray armor.
Light gray, dark gray's overdone.
Well, you heard him, Jeremy. So he's going to do exactly the opposite of whatever the advice is, because that's how Jeremy rolls. But light gray would look nice. You did get suggestions, so take it for what you will, sir. He's coming along well. Let's see here. Only half the face. The motherland is disappointed. I know. Well, I mean...
No, because his face is defined by ginormous beard and brow.
Yeah.
Motherland is happy.
Yes. I mean, I think they're saying that there should be more. But I think
More
that
beard
we
and
will
brow?
find that this is, in fact,
Plenty.
the apex of it. Because they don't want to get silly. They all know who Cousin It is. Never mind the confusion of IPs. Oh my gosh, random fact I learned the other day. Did you all know and maybe a lot of you did, but I learned this fact, and so because you're all my friends, I immediately want to share this fact that I've learned. At one point, between the 80s and 90s, the Lord of the Rings had gone into public domain. Which was exactly when Games Workshop picked up their fantasy game as a derivative, legally, apparently, because there was no infringement at the time, before the rights ended up reverting back to the Tolkien estate. I had no idea about that until yesterday. So, that's kind of cool. I mean, it's interesting, especially since there's been so much talk of, IP of late. And, yeah, I didn't know that. Flo has spoken.
Well, I do it so rarely. They just gotta listen, right?
Indeed, indeed. I wish half my face was beard and eyebrows. I'm really glad half my face is not beard and eyebrows.
I don't know if I could pull that off.
There's a lot of Hungarian blood at some point in my lineage, and I'm like, y'all are hairy enough. It's fine. Let's see, cleaning brushes. I use hot water plus white vinegar, then reshape them with hair clay. Oh my goodness. That's an interesting technique. So you don't use the proper, brush soap. You find the white vinegar to work well. Does the smell bother you? Let's see. Thomas just finished Brennos, the Elderhorn. Posted him on Facebook. Ooh, nice. Let's see. Now working on Lori for Circle of Boros. Excellent. Working on the Drider I had going on last time. No time to paint since then. Oh, Shale, I feel your pain. Oh, Loki from Circle of Boros. That makes more sense. Good evening, ladies. Eyebrows.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Austin, I'm actually quite curious how you do eyes. I do Scooby-Doo method. I like the Hanna-Barbera dots. I love it. Hey, Mandragora. Welcome. What do you have to share? Let's see, I feel like some IP lawyer dropped the ball. That's really interesting. Well, yeah, it had to do with some craziness. Oh, Miranda thinks she knows me so well. Ha, I will go with Sky Gray, so poo on you. That's just right. Fight fire with fire. In the age of darkness, there's only strife. Indeed. Let's see. Miranda's tried to teach me how to paint eyes many times. Oh, Paul, you're fine. Let's see.
Miranda is actually really good at faces. Possibly, very likely better than I am at faces.
We'll see. I've kept my caffeine intake really low today, despite the very strong temptation to indulge in lots of caffeine because I was feeling a little faded today. But need as still a hand as possible. We're going to try this now that the expectation's been set. I just drop mine tipped down in a cup of water. Buy cheap ones every month. Well, yeah. But I really like my little brushes. I got these a couple of years ago from Jason at Monument, and he's going to be at Valhalla this year, and I want him to know that I took good care of these brushes, and I don't want him to be angry at me, so. Let's see. Plus, it's nice to just have stuff that lasts. Let's see, I just dropped, that sounds like one of those non-truths that gets said to fool people on the internet. I don't know, maybe. It is a thing I heard, and admittedly I have not vetted the fact. But it sounded very interesting, and it kind of made sense in a way. I have a squad of Blood Angels Assault Terminators on my table. Ooh, wait a minute. For assembly, or are they actually ready to get painted? Dilute the white vinegar enough and you're fine. Fair enough. See, I'm still working on those. I'm still working, but picked up Hexfire and some rubrics. So I'll get to those later. Oh, nice, Andrew. Mandragora, I shared everything. All my 40k models have been painted. Every last auxiliary side character. The greater spawn I'm scratch building is at a good stage. And I got to and finished my knight. Holy cow, man. Wow. That's like, that deserves an award. Super applause to you. Wow. So you're actually, like, living the meme of, like, you won't buy the new model until you've painted the stuff you already have?
Tell me you're doing the Wargamer bingo.
Are you doing the Wargamer bingo?
Or the Warhammer.
Well, I don't know if, is that on every store? Is that all over the world? Warhammer bingo? That's, because I know the local shop here has Wargamer bingo where you paint whatever.
It's supposed to be a bigger thing, I think.
Albert Pedro Trias. Hey guys, question for ya. What is your preferred material to paint on? Plastic, resin, or metal? Well, I learned on pewter, the white metal, and resin.
Not ideal to paint on, in my opinion.
Well, no. Like, if you prime it, you're like, okay, this feels fine. The problem with metal is its inclination to chip, especially if you vigorously use your models, and obviously the weight can be another factor when you get enough of it.
Miranda would know nothing about vigorously using models.
I've dropped my tape measure on my models many times, so yeah, I've learned that the metal, while it can be fairly resilient, is a little funky. Plastic is probably the penultimate one, just because you have a generally better consistency. Resins can be nice, but they run the gambit, and if they don't cure properly, you can't paint on it at all. Like, you'll have a oozing problem or some weird issue. So, I mean, resins and plastics can probably be interchangeable. Like, the best resins are good with plastics, but crappy resins just suck to paint on. So, it's like that range of things. It's just plastic is the most expensive to produce because of the molding process. Let's see, since I cannot buy Thunderhawks because Forge World GW shenanigans, I'm gonna build and paint Khador Colossals, and the other one, well, there's Victor and Conquest, if they're both Khador. Siobhan, currently I am painting a Gundam, hoping to have a bunch of these painted in time for Valhalla for demoing the game to use them. Ooh, now that sounds fun. Let's see, Christian, more than halfway through the painting process, I have base red, then washed, then brightened. So it's a slow one, but the reds are very lush in the end. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, you build it up and you got a bit of a gradient. That does sound really nice. Paul, I think Inquisitor Greyfax is the only mini I've painted for Miranda with a face. Helms all the way. Oh, and she does look lovely. Warhammer Bingo was the January White Dwarf, I think. Well, when did it come out for you? When did you pick it up? Just from the store? Because it's just a sheet at the store.
Yeah, I don't remember when exactly I did, but I know it goes till December, so.
What is Wargamer Bingo? So specifically Warhammer, the Warhammer stores have it, and I don't know what all's on it. She does the things.
So it's basically motivation to get your hobbying done. So completing a main character, a side character, a vehicle, a certain amount of soldiers and the likes, those all will fill in parts of the bingo card, and you can actually get prizes for it for completing a line bingo.
Nice. Let's see, I told myself, Mandragora, I told myself I could not paint my knight until I finished all of my 40k backlog. I've never been in a GW shop or a gaming shop in 10 years by now, and it worked. Oh my goodness. That is some dedication, man. Seriously. Austin, prime it with a rattle can and finish with a varnish, and you can paint anything, really. Unless you drop a tape measure on your metal models, you're still going to chip it. Just saying. Now, one might say, don't do that. To which I say, well, too bad. Let's see. Primer. Primer is my favorite material to paint on. Okay, fair enough. Let's see. But, hey Bills, welcome to the chat. I'm way too fixated on privateer press models right now for Warhammer Bingo, sadly. You know, it's not like there won't be another thing. Yeah. Hobbying is hobbying. If you're doing what you want, then you're doing it right. Let's see. Okay. So, Bearded Man. Let's get these models out of the way. Help prevent injury to them. And start off on Chunky Boy. So, his detail, the facial details for him are primarily hair. It's primarily hair. So, we'll start off with getting some whites in the eyes. Just real light. And then we'll kind of get the eyeball shape in there. And then really, I'm going to let his eyebrows define the rest of the shape of his eye. And we will see. I think there is a little bit of detail in there to get like some lips of sorts. Don't quote me yet, though. Let's take a look. If you drop a metal model on a tableware mat, you're usually okay. That is true. I've done that many times as well. Mandragora, GW has done nothing for me in years, so I did this for my little bro who gave me the night for our birthday. Aww. That's such a sweet story. Man,
I'm still
so
waiting for the Silent King to get built because I gave that to my boyfriend for Christmas. Waiting to be able to paint that one.
Man, so what are you gonna do now? Like, what is the next thing for you? Or are you just sort of gonna bask in the accomplishment of that for a while? Because I don't know that I will ever know a state of just, oh no, all my stuff's painted, you know?
I know I will never see that state because I'm too busy painting everybody else's
Well,
stuff.
you are painting other people's stuff. That does make that a little hard.
And he's got a closet of it.
Yes. Let's see, damage control on chipped paints. Quick, medics. Oh, it's just usually like, he'll be fine. You know, there's a certain charm to a model that's seen a little bit of wear. It shows that it's been, you know, played on the table. It's not a neglected model. And I mean, a lot of times, if you're gonna, I'm very
It's
unlikely to
war
ever
damage.
repaint a model. There you go, war damage. It's weathering. No offense to anyone who's enjoyed the bingo, but I take my lead in inspirations from better sources, like this community. Oh my goodness, Mandragora. You're getting all the accolades tonight. Well, yes. I think for people who might not be as interested in doing the whole group thing or hanging out in groups, I can see why like something like a bingo would be an appeal. Plus, if you are motivated by like the idea of getting stuff out of it, because what the Warhammer store actually offers those prizes, so that definitely will have some appeal to people. Oh, alright. So we're going to take the teeniest, tiniest bit of water, and we need to make sure we know where we're painting that. So that's going to be right in the eye socket. And the other thing that I do, doesn't matter if there's a little bit of extra white, it's really just to highlight his eye, right, where the black is going to be. And I'm not going to put like color in his eyes at all, just because that would be bananas. No one's going to see it. So we've got this guy here, somewhat painted. Let's see if we can get him to focus here. There we go. And it's a little hard with all the light. I might kill that for a second. So, on his face, when it thinks about focusing, it will do it. Focus, I say. There it is.
You can do it.
Indeed. It's a little hard to tell because he's got pretty pale skin. I mean, it's just up in Kadar. It's not like they see the sun. So, trying to decide whether I need a little bit more white in there particularly. I might throw a little bit more in there just for the funsies. Obligatory reminder that Flo's a boss. Real life battle damage. Exactly, Andrew. Austin. It's a wonderful feeling all my stuff is painted. I haven't finished all my things because I'm not a hero like Mandragora, but I'm getting there. Hey man, but this is inspiration, right? Like, it can happen. It legitimately can happen because we have a real life person in the chat who it really happened to. Because he made it happen. And that is inspiring. Let's see. Paul, I ordered about 3 tableware mats during the pandemic. Doug wasn't 100% sure shipping to England. was okay, so he actually tracked it for me. Nice. Hi Rodrigo, welcome to the chat. Sorted Funsies. We are trying to get some eyeballs in place for this Cadoran gentleman.
Some eyeballs.
One of the other big things is trying not to overdo the paint on your paintbrush, which is a little bit of a problem for me usually. So I'm trying real hard to. Of course, in this case, I think I just overdid it a little bit. The paint was so runny. But that's okay. If you end up overdoing it on the white, as long as you have your skin tone, whatever skin tone you're using around, you can just shore that up, which is exactly what I will just do with him. The other thing that I'm noticing about his particular eyes is that I don't know that I'm going to have a flat enough surface to get, because I'll normally just do like a line, because I find it easier to draw two parallel lines that look pretty straightforward, and then just shape them in, like frame them in with the skin tone or the eyebrows or whatever. In this case, it does seem like this little guy has so much hair, like modeled into him everywhere, that it will take some doing to see if there's enough space to actually get, to actually get some lines going. So you kind of get some idea there. You can see where in his right eye, the one on the left there, is overdone with the white. And almost seems a little low on the other eye. So we're just gonna mess with this. Just keep fiddle-futzing with it to get it right. Let's see. Dr. Kuss, everyone, shipping is not a problem now because it looks like they have thought it through. Example, I got my other Forge World stuff within a 2-week time frame, start to finish during the pandemic. Well, I do not believe that any of the Forge World stuff is made in China, so as long as it's locally manufactured, which as I understand it all the GW parts are, it's probably going to be easier to get a hold of it. Eyeball? Huh, this dude has an eyeball. That's interesting. Whereas if you're getting, especially if you're getting stuff from China, I know that was the thing Privateer was dealing with the other day to try and get their shipments in for the Kickstarter for Requiem. Mandragora, 20-1 full shot of the army. I'm tempted. I can't do an army shot like Mini Wargaming Dave's Chaos, Dan's Orcs, or Miranda's Khador. I have no recorder camera, but maybe all the units. Yeah, just collage it together. What's next? Something else small and easy to complete. So probably my Mantic Veerman. Get the sci-fi rats done with. But first, I have to dust them. So much dust. Oh my. That was very nicely done. That's super awesome, man. Gosh. Just to see the scale of it, I guess, is kind of what everybody's asking for. Just like, nope, this is everything. It's all done. It's all painted. What a crazy thought. Alright. So, it turns out this feller, no, his name is Feller, on his left eye, the one on the right, there's actually a little raised point where his eyeball sticks out. Which means I actually have a place to put that black ink. And then I'm going to have to attempt to somehow mirror it on the other side. So, I think I chose the hardest model to start with, so, you know, get that out of the way. and everything else is easier, right? That's how that works. I don't know what to do at all when I don't know what to do at all when doing anything artistic. Well, I mean, not really sure how to address that sentence. So usually there's like some process you can start with. Like, oh, here's a model. We assemble it. Okay, well, in order to paint it, you have to prime it. So you prime it. Oh, part of the priming technique is getting into all these places. So there's so much to painting that wouldn't necessarily have to be artistic, in my view. So. Let's see here. Let's see. No problems. You can photo squads per squads. Yes. Well, I'll collage it. What about you? Same shipping problems with the Carjack Kickstarter. They got the models done, but all the print stuff is getting held up. Yeah, I suspect that will be a problem for a little while. Paul, pretty sure all the models are made in Nottingham, England, but a lot of the GW terrain is now done in China. A lot of GW terrain is done in people's houses with their 3D printers. Not that I'd know anything about that. Albert, since today's stream title is on faces, do you find faces the hardest thing to paint? Actually, yes for her, no for me. They are my favorite part to paint, so even if they are difficult, it doesn't feel that difficult because I enjoy them. Generally, the difficult stuff is like when you look at Flo's work on that neck line, you see all the line work. Anything that requires that kind of stuff is intimidating.
I think they require a lot of the same skills.
Just sort of steady hand.
Yeah.
I can see that. Suppose that makes sense. Alright. So, the thing with faces is it's really not a thing to do if you are at all in a hurry. Just don't do a face in a hurry. Alright, so I'm going to start with the raised eyeball part. Now I'm kind of just going to almost dry brush over it because the height of that piece of the sculpting should kind of tell me where the eye is oriented, and then I can kind of mirror everything to that. Here's the goal. Alright, he's got one beady eye. No way, I can't draw a straight line with a paintbrush. Oh, Christian, I totally hear you. Melinda, hi there.
Hi, Melinda.
Welcome. No worries. Like late or no late, we're just hanging out. Alright, so first I bit in. He's got one eye. Now one eye is easy because it doesn't matter the orientation. And that is literally the raised part of the model there. So now, how do we get that to work on the other side without him looking
cross-eyed,
like Earthworm Jim? Which, is an amazing model, but he's a very specific kind of eye. So let's see what we can do. So we know it needs to be kind of really up against his eyebrow. I don't know. I'm gonna have to dot this one. I can't do my line technique for it due to this design. So one of the things that I found works pretty well when I'm done holding my breath, is if you get a piece of paint on the tip of your little paintbrush there, and you can kind of stare straight down at the model ahead of you, especially if you're painting like the color black on some kind of contrasting color, or contrast on contrast, then what you can do is line up the eyeball, because it's the black bit at the tip of your paintbrush, and you can line it up where you want it before you've committed to actually like splooging the paint into his face, basically. So which is to say I floated the eye around on the paintbrush, right, as if it's stuck on there, until I saw where I wanted it, and then I committed to sticking it onto his face. So when we look at it now, because I was looking at him straight on, he actually has his eyes in the right place. Now, is that eye a little bit lower than the other? It is, but his face is at an angle, and we will be able to see the, that look more normal once he has his beard on. Because right now, he's just a couple of dots on a sea of flesh. We know that's not what it's supposed to look like. So, our scary part is done. That was my, Kurt Russell impression. Earthworm Jim, he's such a groovy guy. Earthworm Jim is awesome. Signed up for painting faces class at WFW. Not really my strong suit. Does fraudulent exist in the US too? See, my next task will be to try painting a mini with oil paints. Well, wait a minute. Were you the one who had mentioned that a few streams ago? Because I know that oil paint concept had come up. It just seems like you have to wait so long for that stuff to dry. Let's see, they stock a bunch at the Battle Bunker in Memphis. Oh, yeah, for Forge World. Yeah, I think they kind of have some distribution already laid out ahead of time. I don't even know what to ask Google to get better at artistic endeavors. Specificity will be a little bit important there. Just general art, you're going to see, like, Pinterest board after Pinterest board. And somehow the internet will know everything you're uninterested and shove that in front of your face.
Well, it depends on what you're working on. Do you want to work on line work? Do you want to work on, color theory? Because color theory is something great to have, especially if you're going into painting.
Just as, a basic, a conceptual thing, which
yes.
is more of a process as well. So.
I mean, a basic color wheel, just knowing what each space on the color wheel means will go miles. And just even having a color wheel there in front of you can help out a lot, especially if you're not as familiar with it.
Yeah. The eyes have it. A couple of dots on a sea of flesh. Sounds like a Crucible Guard shenanigans. Ugh. Fair enough. But it's nice to see real artists working. Well, we've got one here.
Oh, shut up.
Melinda, I was camping in Mesa Verde last weekend, so we missed your weekly movie excursion. What did you guys see this/last week? What did we see last week? We saw Free Guy! Oh, that was fun. We're gonna take you to see it, because it's a good time.
Okay.
Free Guy, definitely worth seeing. It's a love letter to gamers in so many ways, and I just really enjoyed it. Let's see, are you young and... No, you're old. Angry man, so we need some gray eyebrows on you. But yeah, no, Free Guy was a fun romp of a movie, not too preachy, and it kind of gives fan service to all of the silly streamer shenanigans. And I guess they incorporated real streamers. I don't watch a whole lot of streaming, so I didn't really know them, but it incorporated real streamers into the show, and they did a good job with that, so very fun. Then a far more serious-ish movie we saw yesterday was called, it's called The Protege, which has Samuel L. Jackson, Maggie Q, Michael Keaton, and it's like a better version of Wrath of Man, but it's still
not very
well. It was fine. It wasn't sad fest, but it's more of a big action thriller where Maggie Q does really impressive, if somewhat unbelievable things. Okay, that's fun. Hey, Brayden, how you doing? Oh, dude, I haven't been on Warcraft in so long at this point. I don't know that I have the stomach for TBC. I still want to go back and play some vanilla, but it's good to see you. How are you doing? Oh my gosh, lots changed for you, I think, since I last talked to you. Let's see. Cool thing at Warhammer World, if you want a model but non-Forge World, a dude will just run over the road to the factory and get one within an hour. Oh, that's cool. Austin supports your color theory comment. Color theory was such a help and such a learning curve to try and figure out. Nice.
I'm kind of surprised how many people don't understand anything about color, like red and yellow makes orange type things.
I don't know that. Well, I don't know what's taught in school anymore, but yeah, I don't know.
I learned that stuff in school, like, early on, but...
Yeah, I remember learning those early on, for me.
But, like, a surprising number of people I've talked to don't know any of those.
I don't know. Did you see Streets of Fire? Yes. What the heck, guys? All right, so, like, Hawk the Slayer, I was all on board. Yes, this is great. You guys offered a great suggestion. Streets of Fire, I was like, what is going on in this movie? It was very 80s. But it was like 80s if aliens arrived to the planet and looked at us in the 80s and then tried to pretend they were humans. Oh, man, I don't know. It got like, I liked Bill Paxton. It was fun. But I'm never going to forget the scene when, Diane Lane just gets freaking not clocked out by her boyfriend, to save her. But I was like, did you have to break her jaw to do it? That was a crazy scene. I remember just being really shocked. I'm like, oh, you can't make that in a movie anymore. Oh my gosh. So yeah, Streets of Fire, that was a one and done, very interesting movie. Let's see, now that I think about it, the Warhammer Cafe and Grapevine had a small selection of Forge World. Ew. Molotov Girl reminded us of you. My brother, said Jodie Comer, reminds him of me for some reason. Or are you just talking about the attitude? Hey, Red Green, welcome. Let's see, if you're familiar with oil paints and you have more familiar to learn them, all the power to you if you can do it. Oh yeah, I'm sure if you get... If you're good at oils, then do what you're good at. If you could make it work with watercolors, make that work too. Jeremy, color wheel, who needs that trash? Oh, Jeremy. More about Jerry's truth. Used to keep a color wheel app thing on my phone for teaching newbies. Sounds like this is a really good basic. Austin, to be fair,
You're welcome.
To be fair, my background really supports shapes over color. Color was always a code for electrical resistances and things like that. Brayden, yeah, keeping really busy with the new work. But been raid logging pretty much in TBC with my undead lock, waiting on New World to waste my life with. Oh, God. I'm so sad because I have such amazing gear on Newt right now that, like, and I was talking about just the other day because I want to go back and play in vanilla still, just with my super top tier character and run around the world and pick my black lotuses and fight horde and all of that. But after 27 or 8 weeks of raiding Naxxramas, like, it triggered the gag reflex to even think about signing on. Like, I'm not a raider. I'm just not raider material, I guess. Let's see, Rory Dixon, yo. Red Green, Streets of Fire, that's one not seen. I mean, it was an interesting movie of the era. More her, especially in her IRL character. Nice. Well, I won't take that one poorly. Thanks, Melinda. Have you seen Christine McConnell yet? Because she super reminds me of you. Let's see, found lots of 20 to 1. I found lots of posts, but not that one. I posted my night under today's Facebook announcement. Go ahead and send me a link to your army. Yay! Warhammer World is so much fun. I really wish I had my army when I was up there. I just have to go back. Let's see. Speaking about color wheels, I'm from an architectural design tech. I am an architectural design tech. We are forced to know it, but at least we know this works. Color wheel equals black, gray, off-white. So yeah, Tim Burton color wheel. Mandragora, Streets of Fire. I've not heard of a scene like that since Sarah Silverman got punched and waved the gun. Oh my gosh. Oh god, I could imagine when I had to do the 2 weeks of Nax doing 34 man. I'm like, not worth the stress. Yeah, it was pretty fun at the time. I don't think I realized how exhausting that process is, though. I mean, it is a weird type of stress you take on, and especially if you kind of are working all the time, doing more stuff that just feels like work, ends up being pretty unfun after a while. Watched Netflix Sweet Girl. It was surprisingly good. Sweet Girl. God, what's the last thing I've even watched on Netflix?
Great British Baking Show.
Only when Noel Fielding's on it, because he's amazing. Tim Burton color wheel is black, white, gray. Johnny Depp, gray again.
Can't forget Danny Elfman.
And Danny Elfman, that's true. He's pretty staple to the whole Burtons.
Also blue. Blue is very, very common. Corpse Bride.
Yeah, that's true. Corpse Bride definitely had a very blue hue. I'm trying to remember Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow was very gray.
Yeah, I think it
and
was.
And then it had the very bright red for any of the blood. Because Hammer Horror.
Now I gotta look up the film for Streets of Fire. It's on Netflix. Like, you don't have to pay anything to watch it. And I wouldn't. Oh man. This movie. Let's see. So we need to get this dude's eyebrows going. Alright, so the nice thing about this guy, I'm trying to see if I can get this on camera when I do it. But I think I'm going to transfer Skuldra back to Grobulus and experience real Protection Warrior tanking with Thunder Fury. Seems like most ally are going to Grob since it's not Horde heavy. Are you serious? That's just going to make the ratios worse for the rest of us. Oh. Alright, whatever. I loved Bugman's bar. Got the mug. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes, I think I watched it the other night. I think the trailer doesn't do it justice. Okay, let's see. So he's got sculpted eyebrows. They're just part of his face. It's not one of those models where you have to actually paint the eyebrows on. Or as the habit of some ladies. But, so we're just gonna really lightly go over with the paintbrush on the raised portions of his brow. And don't push too far down because we don't want to have to repaint our very perfectly placed dots. That would be unpleasant. Let me stare at this a second. Figure out where his eyebrow is there. So in this, that's way too much paint. Let's pull that back. Little bits at a time. Let's see if we can get his beard sort of filled out a little bit more so we can see more of his beautiful face. So we can
figure out where his features are.
we can figure out his beautiful face. Random, do you mind if I take up another reply slot? No, not at all. Definitely share to your heart's content, good sir. I look forward to seeing your completed army. It's such an accomplishment. Like, goodness. Please. I want to see it. By the way, when I do finish up my stream for the night, one of Paul's birthday presents to himself is the new Aliens game. So if you all are still working on hobbying after I leave, you should go check that out. Watch some violent video game action happening. As I understand it, the Space Marines are at Hadley's Hope just chomping through aliens? Is that right, Paul? So much of it is just angling the model in the right place. I'm even bothering to put him in a model holder. I feel like I wouldn't be able to have as much control as I need. So this is just a little bit of detail work of trying to make sure we get his, where the beard shapes around his face to look alright, to look correct, and not be blotchy or messy. Because you can put the skin tone kind of back on it, but you usually have to do multiple layers because the, skin tone's a lot lighter than his gray beard, dark gray beard here. So you can see we're getting a little bit more control of, or shaping in his face a little bit more. Can I look up? And looks a little Fu Manchu-y from here. So might have to bring that in. And then he's got one eyebrow, and the other eyebrow I think I might actually have to paint in. And it's like under his hat, so that'll be fun to figure out. Aliens Fireteam Elite. Thank you. Floppy told me Fairbanks is dying big time. It's almost impossible to do group things. Yeah. But I think, here's my theory about Warcraft. When it comes to vanilla, like, when Classic came out, there were so many people who were understandably and justifiably just sick of the bloat that is current Warcraft. And so they wanted to refresh with Classic and kind of be able to relive the experience as either they remembered it or, you know, relive it as they wanted to, which was more me, because I didn't get to do any of the cool raids when I was originally playing. I was part of a guild that struggled to finish like ZG. And now, you know, I was in this really awesome guild that cleared next, and I really liked everybody. It was really fun, a fun time. And so after everybody sort of came in and chewed up the content, it was a bunch of raiders who primarily did that. And so TBC gets announced and everybody's like, you know, gearing up and getting ready to jump onto the next expansion. And it's a bit of a common behavior among that personality type, right? Like they just want to play the new content, chew through that, whine about being bored, and move on to the next content. So I think that after a little while of TBC, and we're probably coming into about that time frame, like people are going to be back in Classic, and it's going to be like the old players that are actually living the original Classic vanilla experience, rather than like the weird anachronized one where, you know, the number of players on the server was never meant to be that crazy. Like the whole PvP system was just jacked, and it really stretched a lot of its original systems because it was never designed to have that many people. And so I think with a smaller population, it'll actually become a really enjoyable game, and the people who stick around are going to be like the type of players that just want to enjoy being in a world, which is my view of it. And I hope to be one of them at some point. So I think that's one of the differences there. Bye, Rodrigo. It's very much Aliens movie vibe. I've played 30 minutes in total, and they were swarming me. Ah! I've seen the trailer for Streets of Fire, and well, to me, Mad Max meets Grease, maybe, to see. Kind of, yeah. Let's see, actually, War Budgies light gray matches the game better, but I didn't want it to look like Stormtrooper-ish. Just found out I'm... What? What are you talking about, Andrew? Are you messing with us right now? Mandragora. Oh, you do great. Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the view. And so I look forward to seeing the people from the guild who kind of kept some of their, like, less built alts back in Classic and just kind of poke in at the game once in a while. which feels like a healthy indulgence of the game. Because I think I just ended up obviously I burned myself out, so. Alright, let's see if we can get this eyebrow on here. Alright, so first things first, we need to stay above his eyeball. And not give him a unibrow.
Why ever not?
He does not need a unibrow.
He's furry enough.
That's right. Okay, so what's happening now is I sort of squished a little bit of paint right above his eye to where it's kind of touching that eyeball. And so it gives him a furrowed brow, if you will. You know, the eyebrow is heavy enough. He has a lid over his eye, so it doesn't look as dot-like as it did before. Whereas over here, it's a little more dot-like, but I don't know that I'm going to fill that in. I think that might be just fine. So one of the things about faces is knowing when to stop, and if you're doing really well, just take it. I think this makes good time for a progress check. Flo, where you at, lady?
You are welcome to show. I am gluing up some dudes still.
Which one would you like me to show?
Both of those are on the same level right now.
Okay.
This guy I have a little bit more to do.
It is easy guy. Alright, so here's Flo showing off her awesome technique. So the model has been primed in black. And then you've gone in and added hues and wet blended? Or how are you blending it?
These are the colors I've used so far.
Just show these off too. So game color and some model color, Vallejo, and AV. Acrylos Vallejo. Gotcha. So these are the colors that you use. So which one's your base?
Darkest one. It goes darker to lighter.
Oh, okay. So in that order. And then that gets you that beautiful hue where it has this gradient into the black. A really cool starting place. And so that's the amount of blue on there, and then what's the next step from there? Highlighting the whites, or?
Next is this blue.
Oh, yet another blue, and then to white.
A light blue, which I'm actually going to mix with that middle blue to make it a little less of a stark contrast.
Ah. Queen's Pet, hi, bye. Good to see you, man. There. Good to see you. Red green, some strange on my post. Says what I think now. Someone said Fairbanks is dying. Yes, Fairbanks, I don't know. I don't know that it's dying. I don't think it is. Let's see. Andrew, what's up, bro? Glitches in the Matrix. Progress. Armor and cloth have bases. Ink wash is drying. Hear the Infernals whispering promises of 4-day weekends and painted armies. It's a lie. It's always a lie. Gotta go. Have fun. We'll see more. Or will I? Oh my gosh. Yay. Yay for the pun. Thank you. Thank you. It's a nice blue. Reminds me of Nightlord blue. It is pretty blue. Shell, working on base colors. This model is going to be a lot of me playing with Army Painter colors. Oh, colored metallics. Fun. Let's see. So Braden, 15 to 85 Horde ally, when during Classic it was more like 40 to 60. Phase 2. Looks like Flo has mastered wet blending to a T. Wet blending to a T. Wet blending is, I don't even know what that would be. I'm working, wearing gloves, and texting outside in the 90s. Sweat is everywhere. That is the way of it.
It's been a lot harder to work in it, too.
Alright, so we're just going to give a little bit of a darker flesh tone for his lips. He's not going to have, like, you know, beautiful red lips or anything like that. We just need to,
Why not?
well, I mean, maybe he's Santa. I don't know. What color options do I actually have in front of me here?
You're like, actually, good question. What am I working with?
That is a good question. This midland flesh might be something I could add a dollop of some darker color to. Because, you know, the older man, he's probably not got the most amazing circulation. I could add a touch of purple to it. Okay, Jeremy's asking another question. So pouches, black/off black or Legion or Steel Legion drab. I'm not sure. Blaine, the only thing more relaxing than painting minis is watching someone else paint minis because I'm too lazy. It's how I play video games anymore, is literally just watching other people do it. Because when I play video games, I lose track of the whole day. This is progress on this guy. Although you're working on 3 at a time, right?
Yes.
So
they're all at the same level right now.
So this is that fun, which I've always found kind of peaceful, the assembly line approach of painting, where it's like, nope, you're just doing this thing, this process over and over on these miniatures. And it ends up being pretty fun.
It's just, you know, once I've gotten the base painting down.
Alright, that little tiny touch of that Phoenician purple.
Do you still have my blues? Oh, no, you put them.
I put them back.
Duh.
I didn't want to steal your stuff. I'm not stealing your
How
stuff.
dare you?
Alright,
You thief.
No. Alright, the fun ASMR grossness.
It isn't. It just seems like it'd be terrible to listen to.
I know, right? In fairness to the weather, I really enjoyed the lack of humidity down in Albuquerque. The air here is thick. Oh, I know. Been to Virginia before for Nova, and I just remember when the airplane landed and the doors opened, feeling the air thicken from the ground up. It's like, ugh, humidity. It's,
I am not a fan of it.
yeah, I'm not a fan either. It's no bueno for me. I mean, great for your hair. I'll give it that. Alright, so I'm crunching in some Midland flesh, which is I don't know if it's a little bit ruddier or whatever. It's a darker red brown, I think, in the color. So it has like a lower luminosity to it. It seems good for this particular gentleman. Gentleman. Next game we'll play is Dark Tide in spring 2020. Oh my gosh, probably. I play video games through Game Grumps. Oh yeah, I know them. Let's see, Dave. I've gone orc vehicle mad. I got the following off the sprues and cleaned Morkanaut, Gorkanaut, Wazbomb, Blastjet, Battle Wagon plus upgrade sprue, Forge World, Super Cannon, and Dakajet. Oh my goodness, you really did go all in. Well, kudos to you, and best of luck. Where did that? Oh, there it is. So I should have a toothpick. Let's just grab a little scooch of that and see if we can't blend a color that is decent. I don't know. So we're really pulling in just a teensy bit of that purple, just to give it a little bit of blood flow looking, a blood flow look. And I know it's probably blasphemy in somebody's eyes to mix Privateer and Citadel paints, but you know, here we are.
What?
Vallejo, I don't know. Paint doesn't care. That's actually one of the really nice things about the paint model. Like, even if you're sitting around painting with craft paints, which I am in no way above, obviously, like, just the finished model is the finished model. It doesn't matter which paints you use. Like, nobody's really going to be able to tell if you've done it right. So.
I mean, unless you're going for competition or...
I don't know how that works with the competition stuff. Like, how would you even prove what paints were used for a specific competition? Blaine, mainly watch people paint and play games because I can't work. I am off and have no excuse now. Fair enough. Didn't that purple used to be a Forge World color? Was it? The Phoenician purple? Maybe. I'm South Louisiana, so I know what you mean about thick humidity. Oof, fair enough. Paul once told Ashley about a week of 90% humidity. She said we should be renamed Ickland. The fabled P3 paints, which had never seen Spain. Yeah, it doesn't sound like that's going to do much better either. Well, I'm going to go log off to do Heretics. It was nice chatting with you. Hopefully when COVID's over and the mini wargaming convention tournaments happen, we can meet up. Bye, Brayden. It's good to see you, man. I appreciate you popping in.
Goodbye.
Maybe I'll see you online. Or budgies, I checked the Big Book of Paint Heresy about that, and it says I do what I want. Oh my gosh, yes. Alright, so we are going to very carefully develop this paint in. I feel like I just developed a lipstick color. Which I guess I did. Slightly purple lips. I don't think I mind this. It's actually a really nice color I picked out here. I would wear that. Subtle-ish. Now, a lot gets brought out in the black wash or whatever wash. Probably a sepia on him after we've gotten the rest of his eyes up. Come on, you got this. So he's got his beady eyes, brought in a little bit more to rain, and then you can see the lips are, I mean, there's not really much modeled there, so they're just sort of filling in what's framed by his face, by his beard. And then the wash is going to help bring out all the rest of the details of the contours of his face. But there is actually more gray that'll have to go on and finish out his beard. For example, his beard actually climbs further up his face than what I currently have covered. Let's see if I can fix a little bit of that. Man, I am not making progress. Okay, so faces are slow. Yeah, do that. I mean, to the surprise of no one, though, right? So his beard comes all the way up the side of his face.
All the way up.
All the way. So you get to see his ear. And then the rest of it's hidden behind him. So yeah, he's got a lot of beard covering that face. I mean, that's a proud Cadoran right there. It's a little tricky to poke these into all the right spots. Oh, you know the other movie I watched not that long ago for the very first time? The Sound of Music. And Julie Andrews has been in my head ever since.
Yeah, we'll do that to you.
Well, I just started really fangirling out over her. I was like, oh yeah, Julie Andrews. And, you know, my phone has heard me say her name, and now my YouTube algorithm suggests Julie Andrews, sassy interviews. And I'm like, yes, please. So. She, witty lady.
So of course you'd like her.
Yeah. Like my mom, but I liked her a lot. Probably did. Alright, almost done getting the paint into all these important places. So much of this guy's face is really being shaped by his beard, so it's like really valuable to make sure it's going in everywhere it needs to. Yeah, that's a bit better. Never say no to Julie Andrews. I know, she'll remember it. The story about you. There's some British show I think she was on with Jonah Hill? Yeah. The comedian.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like protecting her as if he was her boyfriend. It's hilarious. Bushening up his first eyebrow a little bit more. Yeah. Now we got some facial expression happening. Check that out.
Well, you know what? Now I've got some definition happening.
Now he looks slightly upset. And his beard is much better cut into his face. And I dig him. What you think?
I like him.
Yes. So now that I've gotten the literal artist one done, let's go on to somebody different. For her, all I have to do is really paint some eyebrows on her. I already kind of shored in where her eyes are. And so and with the case of Trollkin, they all just have like pure white glowing eyes, basically. So I don't really have to put any pupils on her. She just needs some proper eyebrows again to bring her in. But she's just about ready to go. She's got a sassy face, and I like it. Let's see. A few chats. Hey, is it true or myth? Sable hairbrushes cannot be imported into the U.S. and they can only be produced and sold in the U.S. I don't know.
That doesn't sound familiar to me. But I mean, I also haven't researched something like that, so.
Well, right. The Series 7 are sables, and they're not produced in America, and I'm pretty sure you can get them. I mean, obviously you can get them.
I'm using Artist Opus right now, so.
And those are plain, like actual regular sable? Because they're sable and they're synthetic. Squares 1 and 2 snapped, posting to Facebook. Yay! Let's see. My paint collection is clerical error. My paint collection is frankly embarrassing, but the P3 paints have remained some of my favorites. I actually like that they are not ultra matte. Yeah, they do have a bit of a gloss to them, and they are thicker than what I'm used to painting with.
Yeah, Kalinsky Sable.
Okay, so Kalinsky Sable seems to be getting around just fine. Did it say where it was made?
I'm pretty sure it's made in. I know it's an English company, I believe. So.
Dave, I have another question. In the US and Canada, can you buy Reaper paints off the shelf at most stores, or do you have to order off the internet?
Interwebs.
Definitely internet, yeah. You don't even find P3 paints in most game stores. Like, it's Vallejo, Model Painter.
You can rarely find Vallejo either, though.
I've seen some Vallejos, like
some, but like it's very limited.
Yeah, the selection is not usually great, and that's probably one of the hard parts for a game store is to know what colors to necessarily stock. But usually you're going to find GW paints everywhere. Blaine, I do really want to play. I bought them more for the game, but ended up really enjoying painting, which is odd because I don't have an artistic bone in my body. Well, maybe you're just selling yourself short. Painting and playing are my favorites, but building sucks. I magnetize everything to future-proof it, and that requires the mind of a hawk. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, you can talk to DJ about that one.
Painting the ground between spider legs is increasingly a chore. I bet. Just need to learn. There's so much that you can learn from reading the core rules, codex, watching YouTube videos. Too busy these days, unfortunately. Hinders my hobby goals. Ugh, that is the story of our lives.
That for sure.
Let's see. Very clean. Yay. Show me your Occupy Whale face. I think we're a bit beyond that now, Mr. Budgies. He looks like an angry toy maker. Oh, good.
See, it is Santa.
Yeah, angry Santa. Whatever. His face is done. The rest of him should be a little bit easier. It's like a hurdle to get over. That smirking with the bear. Is that for D&D? Oh, with the beer. Beer? Oh, her? No, she's, well, she is a mini crate model, so you could use her for D&D. And she probably would be in a D&D campaign. Now that Requiem is out as a, a world that fits the new 5th edition rule set for Dungeons and Dragons. Captain Kirk would hit that. Oh my god, William Shatner's Twitter makes my heart happy every time I look at it. Let's see, I played my first game a week ago. Got my ass handed to me. Hard to consider it a game. Yeah, that's that.
I mean, first games tend to go that way.
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Pretty standard.
There was an importation problem for a while, but that was some years back. It had to do with the conservation of the Russian sable the hair comes from. It happened like 8 years ago or something like that. Well, I didn't realize you had to murder them to get their stupid hair. It did seem a bit unnecessary. Todd, my local store has a big selection of Reaper paint. I'm not a huge fan of them, actually. Oh, there you go. I'm looking at your table and I see a lot of small pots of paints. Where is that craft paint that I've come to know and love? Oh, right here. Right here, honey. There you go. Don't worry.
There's a big box
I know
here somewhere.
I know my roots. I just use them both. In fact, I still use a lot of the metallics. Burnt umber is certainly a common one. This purple that I've had for an ungodly amount of time. You hear it, it just sounds like watered down paint. My proper Khador red. I can't even replace it. Like, that's just the color of my Khadoran army. Obviously gunmetal gray, which goes on everything. Wrought iron, which is a color that I need to see if I can find a replacement for because this paint has, you know, it's trying really hard to dye on me and I don't let it, but it is just a perfect off black. So, oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I love me my craft paints still. Anyone here get Warhammer Plus and taking a look at the Warhammer 40k and AOS app?
Nope.
Have they improved them? I cannot get Warhammer Plus in Spain yet. It's increasingly hard to find privateer press products at all in Phoenix. 07 game stores in the Valley stock Wormhordes or Warcaster, and only one stocks P3 paints. Well, I don't know how far Warcaster's getting as far as game stores go, because they're pushing everything out through Kickstarter, and so I don't know if like most of the player base is just buying through that. Blaine, I really started liking painting miniatures so much. I bought 2 resin printers. Now I have more armies than games under my belt. Yeah, that's fair.
Again, I know what that's like.
Yeah, so your 3D printers are nice too. Bought some old mini crates off a local for post-Warcaster season. Palette cleanser. Flugwug, the hero we deserve, is my new favorite mini crate. Yes, Flugwug is super cute. You think that me being a professor and all, I would be able to wrap my head around the little rule book.
Yeah.
It's usually a clicking point. Interestingly, the hair for paintbrushes is specifically only from the tails of the male sable. The hair in the brush isn't really formed into a point. The hair from the tail is just like that. Yeah, I watched a video on that, actually. It's fascinating, but still seem mean to kill them for their hair. Those paints you just showed are like folklore here in Spain. Warcaster popped up to some degree. Most of the stores around here, but I haven't seen much of the other privateer games. I remember the first 40k game I demoed. After my turn one shooting, he's shocked. I took out 1.5 units of Space Marines, and he didn't know how to react. I told him everything dies. This is normal. P3 paints are hard to get in here without ordering through online. Ugh, pretty much everything has to get ordered online now. For Kalinsky Sable brushes specifically, there's lots of other hairs in different paintbrushes. Badger hair is also common. Nice.
Badger.
Paul's out of chat. Everyone hail Minna. Dang it, poor budgies. Leave you alone for 2 seconds. Alright, he's good. You're good. These two officially have faces. Let's see if we can get this little Chica work done. I don't know if you guys remember her from a while ago. She's another mini crate model. She's the
Focus.
I know.
It's focusing on your thumb. There we go.
Well, it's fine. It's at the same focal length, I think. But I made her sort of like a Barbie doll, and she is a proxy model for Syria from Retribution of Syra, who is a character I don't like at all, but this is a really cool looking model. And it's funny because she's all pewter, so it's actually really heavy. But I love her like prom dress look I got going on. It's definitely a lot more girly than I normally go for, or ever have the opportunity to even go for. So I had fun with it. So we know she's got blonde hair. However, straight blonde eyebrows don't look amazing.
You always go darker with the eyebrows than you go with the hair.
Exactly. So we are not going to take that hay yellow and put that on her face. We're gonna go with a light brown. Hail Minna. You guys are the worst. Hail who? Signar for the win. There you go. We shall rule the world through pain. Oh my gosh. Is the interior of her dress cape metallic pink? Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I did, but I had just a bright like bubblegummy pink that I put on there first. I wanted to do the shiny metallic paint initially, but it didn't have the thickness required, the pigment required to really have a deep color. And so the gray primer kind of kept showing through. So I ended up putting on a regular pink coat and then letting this shiny part cover over that, and that ended up filling in the brightness. So yes, she just has this crazy shiny, super shiny dress that I guess she's just gonna rock. It's no big deal. Now, one of my favorite P3 colors is this Blood Tracker Brown, which underlays everything so well. It is an amazing color. How'd that bright pink model turn out? Pretty good. Pretty good. Gotta clock out for the night. We'll post pics on Facebook. Yes, I want to see your stuff. I look forward to seeing everybody's stuff. It sounds like the Facebook got kind of busy tonight, so I'm gonna have to take a look. Straight out of the 80s. Oh, I know. So let's see if we can give her some eyebrows before we wrap it up for the night. Oh wait, why am I giving her eyebrows? I'm totally doing that in the wrong order. I need to put the whites of her eyes in. I'm getting distracted.
You?
No. Never happens. This must be your fault.
All my fault.
Alright. Okay. I'm off to clean some brushes. Alright, so just right in there. I don't know how much this is going to focus. We'll see. But we've got to get it into the right underneath the archway of her eyebrows. And for that, it can just be a horizontal line.
A little bit lower.
Or the paint dries on the brush. That happens too, because I'm in a state with no humidity at all.
Happens quite a lot.
kind of get a sense of the model and where your brush wants to go. There you go. Something more like that. Wow, you can't see anything. Oh, I need to get that better camera. Okay, let's try to get that to focus now. Now, you'll notice her arm isn't fully painted because I actually need to fix that. Her arm got real loose there. So I don't want it to fall off. Now, because I just have one pigment color, I'm not too worried about overdoing the eye. Like, I'm just going to recut that in with the pink shade, of color. So that's where we're going to start with. And then now, get some eyeball color in there. It's just black, which is generally my default. It's so quiet, sorry. Zorbaji's gone. Want to go back to worshipping the devourer worm again? Wow. Okay, next part. This is more of where the line technique comes in because of her having more of a full face palette and not having a mess of beard to deal with. Yes, I know. She is quite the Barbie girl, isn't she? Silly. Oof, that eyeball went on super tiny. So we also have fans on in the house in addition to our super effective evaporative cooler. And my paintbrush is slightly dirty, so it's getting a little gummed up with this black paint, but we'll make it work for the next few minutes. It literally keeps drying on me. This brush is going to need cleaning before I can finish doing it. So I've only got one eye on her right now, and that's not quite a clean line, so I want to clean it up first and then make it even across, which again, you kind of just stare straight on at the model and do that, but maybe that's something I can make a video about too. We gotta wrap things up in this flow.
You can show those ones, and then this one will be done in just a moment.
All right, so Flo's progress tonight on her two amazing Nikons. So you've gotten one of the additional colors of blue on, right?
Two of them.
Two of them? Oh, well. Oh, there's five. Five blue hues on this model. But you can see it's starting to really frame his face really well. Ooh, that looks cool. And then this guy as well. That glow effect's gonna be really cool. You get the white in there.
And that one's a 6.
Okay, and so that's with more of the white on to get that final...
That's just the lightest blue.
Is it really just the lightest? Goodness. And then you're still putting a white above it?
Yep.
Oh my god. Alright, I got it. That's her going absolutely bananas with blue hues. To once again get to this point. You look so cool. Green eyes, is that what the final decision was then?
We will see.
So, how did everybody else do tonight? I got 1.5 faces done. What? Painting? Where? Technically, there was some painting. I mean, you could five her a beard, but you'd need a peg leg and an eye patch. Everyone loves Pirate Barbie. The real trick to painting eyes is not to. Wow. The real trick is only to paint models wearing full face masks and helmets. Now you sound like Paul. Clerical error, I like putting on a dark wash into the eye sockets, Magnolia style. I tell myself it's a stylistic choice, which works. So, alright guys, we're going to be heading out here. I am going to post a link in the chat for my friend Paul's live stream, because he is going to be streaming some Alien Murderfest. And so if you feel like watching that, what, you're going to probably play for like an hour, I think. And I'm going to tune in too, just to kind of take a look at it, because I haven't seen this game. Still about a half an hour from finishing these guys up. Well, then you can watch Alien Firestorm, Jeremy. Or models that wear glasses. Excellent. I'm halfway through my work. I'd probably be 3/4 if I wasn't typing in chat. You're helping support, I guess. Adding a color gradient to her giant executioner axe, that's going to take a while. Yeah. I don't know that I'm going to do all that. Alright, so Paul's going live. I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. You take care of yourselves, and yeah, I'm going to go check out the Facebook. So, bye guys.
Bye.